Get ready for the biggest night in Emirates Stadium history as Arsenal hosts Atletico Madrid in the second leg of their Champions League semi-final. We are talking about the intense battle for the final, with Victor Gyökeres and Julian Alvarez trading penalties just days ago, setting the stage for a showdown that could redefine European football. Mikel Arteta is absolutely hungry, feeling the energy from the team and the supporters, and he says these are the moments they want to live together to reach that final for the very first time since 2006. This is going to be massive.
Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to hold it with one hand? The PopSockets Pop Grip gives you a secure grip, works as a phone stand, and even lets you swap the top for a fresh new look. Simple, useful, and perfect for everyday phone use. Click the link in the comments to grab yours on Amazon.
We dive into the history of these epic clashes as we look back at Arsenal's best European semi-final home wins. Remember the 1970 victory against Ajax, the tense 1994 clash against Paris Saint-Germain, and the thrilling 1995 encounter against Sampdoria, where David Seaman's penalty heroics secured a final appearance. These memories remind us just how high the stakes are when we step onto that hallowed turf. But the future is on the line for Mikel Arteta. The New York Times weighs in on whether the manager deserves a new contract, regardless of the immediate trophy haul. With Arsenal leading the Premier League and facing Atletico Madrid tonight, the question is whether this campaign finishes in triumph or disappointment, and why stability is the key to Arsenal's continued success in this volatile league. Finally, here is the complete preview for the massive second leg between Arsenal and Atletico Madrid. We break down the likely lineups, focusing on key players like Victor Gyökeres and Julian Alvarez, and what the predictions suggest for this tense 1-1 tie. Tune into Arsenal.com and the app right before kickoff for the best build-up, and don't miss a second of the action. Arsenal faces Atletico Madrid in what is potentially the biggest night in Emirates Stadium history, the second leg of their Champions League semi-final on Tuesday at 8 p.m. UK. The contest carries immense weight as Arsenal seeks a first European Cup final appearance since 2006. The tie is poised for drama, following a penalty shootout between Victor Gyökeres and Julian Alvarez 6 days prior, leaving the final destination, Budapest, open to either club, with Bayern Munich or Paris Saint-Germain poised to challenge for the trophy. Arsenal enters the match with strong momentum, having remained unbeaten in all 13 Champions League matches this season, including 5 home fixtures. Mikel Arteta expressed immense hunger, stating, "I can't wait. I feel the energy in and amongst the team and our supporters, so these are the moments that we want to live together. We had a lot of work as a club, as a team, after 20 years to be in this position again, and we are so hungry to get a game that we want tomorrow and go through to the final." Atletico Madrid, under Diego Simón, has navigated a challenging season. While initial struggles in La Liga were overcome by a 9-game winning streak, their path to the Champions League semi-finals involved navigating playoff rounds, including an impressive 7-4 aggregate victory over Club Brugge and a 7-5 aggregate win over Tottenham, leading to a semi-final appearance for the first time since 2016-17. Tactically, Adrian Clark noted that Simon's team shifted dramatically after the first half, moving from circumspect possession to ferocious intensity and touch-tight pressing. Atletico's physical strength is a major asset. They have dominated duels, tackles, and interceptions throughout the competition. Julian Alvarez has been a standout performer, averaging a goal or assist every 80 minutes in his Champions League career. Regarding player availability, Mikel Arteta confirmed that Martin Odegaard and Kai Havertz will be in the matchday squad following injuries. Absences for Arsenal include Jurrien Timber and Mikel Merino due to groin and foot issues, respectively. Atletico is missing central midfielder Pablo Barrios and winger Nicolas Gonzalez due to hamstring and thigh problems. Veteran centre-back Jose Giménez has also rested. Daniel Siebert will officiate the match as the head of the German officiating team. This fixture marks the second time the two sides have met in a European semi-final, with a previous encounter in the 2017-18 Europa League. Fans are encouraged to tune into Arsenal.com and the Arsenal app for the build-up, with commentary provided by Dan Roebuck and Adrian Clark from Kickoff. The focus remains squarely on the clash of ambitions as both sides aim for European glory. Arsenal is gearing up for a crucial UEFA Champions League semi-final second leg against Atletico Madrid, with a victory securing passage to the final in Budapest later this month. Ahead of the clash, the club is reflecting on past European semi-final triumphs. A look back reveals several memorable performances. In 1970, Arsenal secured a 3-0 victory over Ajax in the Fairs Cup semi-final. Although the first leg was understated, Charlie George scored the first goal in the 17th minute, prompting Ajax star Johan Cruyff to suggest George could reach the level of Di Stefano. John Samuels added a second, and Charlie George netted a penalty late on. Arsenal ultimately lost the return leg 1-0 in Amsterdam, progressing with a 3-1 aggregate win. Another significant moment came on April 12, 1994, with a 1-0 win against Paris Saint-Germain in the Cup Winners' Cup second leg. After a 1-1 draw at the Parc des Princes, Arsenal capitalized on the away goal advantage in a tense Highbury encounter. Kevin Campbell scored a superb reflex header past Bernard Lama, securing a 2-1 aggregate victory. A dramatic clash in the Cup Winners' Cup on April 6, 1995, saw Arsenal face Sampdoria. Central defender Steve Bold scored twice in the first half, setting the team up for a comeback. Ian Wright scored a crucial goal, but the tie ended in a 5-5 draw, with David Seaman's penalty heroics ensuring Arsenal reached the final for the second consecutive year. Furthermore, in the UEFA Cup semi-final first leg against Lens on April 6, 2000, Arsenal overcame a difficult first leg, with Dennis Bergkamp scoring a vital goal following a through ball from Emmanuel Petit, leading to a 2-1 win in France and qualification for the final in Copenhagen. Noi dung kai tight. Mikel Arteta is strongly positioned for a new contract extension with Arsenal, regardless of the immediate outcome of the current season. The New York Times reports that despite the ongoing pressure, the club is right to pursue a new deal, emphasizing that trophies are not the sole determinant of the manager's future. /N Arsenal currently holds a lead in the Premier League and is set to play the second leg of their Champions League semi-final against Atletico Madrid tonight. The coming weeks will be crucial, with the team facing scrutiny over past disappointments, but also positioned for unprecedented success, highlighted by a record 40 wins in 58 games this season. The club is close to the Premier League title, following a recent draw against Manchester City. While negotiations have been in early stages, with Arteta initially preferring to defer until the season concludes, Arsenal has signaled their intention to retain him. High-value contract negotiations are complex, and the final assessment will occur at the end of May, when the results of both the Premier League and Champions League are known. /N Arsenal's strong performance, including beating Atletico and setting a club record for single-season victories, demonstrates consistency and validates the club's direction under Arteta. Analysts argue that stability is a significant competitive advantage in a volatile league, contrasting Arsenal's coherent tactical identity and long-term vision with the frequent managerial churn seen at rival clubs. /N The opportunity to secure Arteta's future is not limited to the current season. Key players like Bukayo Saka, William Saliba, and Gabriel have secured long-term deals, suggesting the core squad remains intact for the near future. Allowing his contract to expire would invite unnecessary speculation and distraction during a critical period. /N detractors point to the lack of major silverware since 2020 as a concern. However, the consensus within Arsenal suggests that Arteta is the right manager, and the immediate results of the remaining fixtures should not dictate his tenure. The club's hierarchy is expected to support him, believing that if he delivers on the domestic or European front, any lingering doubts will be resolved. Stability and continuity are viewed as Arsenal's greatest asset moving forward. Arsenal faces Atletico Madrid in the second leg of their Champions League semi-final, a clash that is currently locked at a tense 1-1 draw. The Gunners remain favorites to advance to their first Champions League final in 2 decades. Following a memorable run to the final in 2006, supporters are eagerly anticipating a repeat of that historic journey. Atletico Madrid, under Diego Simon, cannot be dismissed. Despite a cautious start at home, the Rojiblancos showed resilience, suggesting they will be confident in challenging the Gunners in North London. Both teams are aiming to reach the final for the 3rd time, marking a significant return to the pinnacle of club football for Arsenal after a decade. The narrative shifts away from a repeat of the league phase, where Arsenal secured a commanding 4-0 victory. The team has shown renewed swagger following their recent 3-0 win against Fulham, indicating they are tough to contain in a potentially frantic night. Predictions favor a narrow Arsenal victory, with a projected score of 2-1. Tactical considerations point to key personnel selections. Arteta is expected to keep Victor Gyökeres in the starting lineup, building on his strong performance. Declan Rice will anchor the midfield alongside Martin Zubimendi, with Martin Odegaard and Eberechi Eze expected to feature in the attacking third. Defensively, selection dilemmas remain for the right and left-back positions, with Arteta weighing options between Ben White and Christian Mosquera, and Ricardo Calafiori and Piero Hincapié. Crucially, last week's goalscorer, Julian Alvarez, is expected to be fit and ready to start in North London. Atletico Madrid is set to field a 4-4-2 formation, relying on their established core, including Jana Black and Anton Griezmann. The travel squad for the second leg will feature heavy rotation, with key players like Giuliano and Alexander Sorloth having overcome knocks. The match is set to be a high-stakes contest where both sides will fight for a defining moment in their European campaigns.